Hi there, this is your friend Anna, and the question that I've been getting the most from all of my friends is, what are we wearing? This age-old question isn't just about choosing an outfit, it's about choosing how we present ourselves to the world. I created the I Want Her Shoes podcast to dive deep into what it means to dress with intention, whether you're heading to a council meeting or just having a casual day out with your family. Join the conversation as we explore the power of personal style and the decisions that shape our public personas. Put on your favorite pair of shoes and step into my closet. All right. Well, welcome back to the I Want Her Shoes podcast, where we explore ambition, leadership, reinvention, and the women creating meaningful impact in the world. I'm your host, Anna Anderson, and today's conversation is about something that every one of us needs, whether we're building a business, leading a team, raising a family, or simply just navigating change in our life: innovation. And most people think innovation is about tech or AI or launching the next billion-dollar startup. But today's guest believes innovation starts somewhere much more personal. It begins with curiosity and with asking better questions, with having the courage to imagine a future that doesn't exist yet, and then taking the first step toward building it. Leigh-Ann Buchanan has spent nearly 2 decades doing exactly that. And she's an attorney, entrepreneur, innovation strategist, and advisor whose work has helped deploy more than $100 million in philanthropic capital to transform communities and expand opportunity. That's amazing. Leigh-Ann, congrats. And she's worked at an intersection of technology, economic development, government, and social impact, helping leaders think differently and build systems that create lasting change. And today we're going to talk about leadership, innovation, AI, resilience, purpose, and why the future belongs to those who are willing to rethink what's possible. Well, welcome. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you, Anna. And I love this idea of the future belonging to those who have the courage to think about what's possible and reimagine. Because I think that's what we need more now than ever.
Yes, no, agreed. Especially with the wave of AI where they're saying that kids are not going to write or read anymore, which is scary to think about, right? Yeah. That's what's happening. And you've built your career around helping people imagine what doesn't exist yet. But why don't we talk a little bit about you and kind of your roots? Did you grow up in Miami, or where are you from if you didn't?
Yeah, so I'm actually Canadian. So awesome. I grew up in Vancouver, Canada. And I moved to the U.S. at 16 to attend college. So I was a little bit of a nerd. And I moved to Miami over 20 years ago to attend law school. So what most people don't always know.
Yes, I did not know you're an attorney. I was reading that in your bio. I was like, I had no idea, because I met you when I first moved here, which was almost 11 years ago now. So, and I thought you were from here because you very much advocated for the city, which is awesome. And you still do that, just on a much higher scale now.
Yeah, I think I've spent more time in Miami than I've spent anywhere else in my life. And what I love about Miami, we met at a time where there were so many people building from the ground up, building new organizations like Venture Cafe. I think originally you had the Data Science Salon, and we partner with those activations. But what I love about Miami is I think it is a place for people to land and launch new ideas. It's a great landing pad for those of us who are not from the United States, and then really to launch and scale great ideas.
Yeah, no, I agreed. And I think it is a really friendly place to come, because there's amazing people like you welcoming everybody. And innovation, really has become one of the most overused words in business, especially in Miami, I feel like. What do you think people misunderstand about what it actually means? What does it actually mean to you?
So it's interesting. I wish I had not forgotten a copy of my book that I was going to bring to you. So I have to drop it in the mail. But in my book, Innovation Currency, one of the things that I talk about is we could go into a room of 100 people and ask each person to define innovation, and we would come out with 100 different definitions. And ultimately, when you think about kind of the root of the word, innovation simply means into new. It is the process of doing the creation of a new thing, not thinking, that's creativity, but the actually implementation of new ideas. And the spin that I like to put on the conversation around innovation is that for people to do the innovating, they need to first embrace their identities as innovators.
Right.
So like understanding that you are an innovator, innovation is for everyone, is really that precursor to being empowered to think that you have the capacity to build something that you don't see.
No, that's an amazing definition of this. Probably the best one that I've heard. And you've worked across startups, government, philanthropy, and tech. What have those very different worlds taught you about creating meaningful innovation or change?
Some people think that, to the point that you made, philanthropy, government, kind of startups and technology, that they seem very disparate. But actually, my work has really been around a couple of through lines. One, that each of those spaces require bold and courageous leaders that are using their leadership platform and their skills to drive forward change. And I think that the leaders of today and the leaders of tomorrow, like that future of leadership, requires that we actually be better innovators to navigate some of the big disruptions that we're seeing. We're seeing kind of social disruption happening. We're seeing labor market disruption with AI. We're seeing disruption of so many industries as we really shift from being more of a built environment and tactile economy to being more digitized, and how legacy industries are navigating that. So I'd say the through line between philanthropy, startup and tech, and government has been, how do we empower leaders to have the courage and the vision, and most important, the right type of values to effectuate change.
I feel like the last part.
We can go much deeper with that one.
Yes. But I think people will consider the last part more when they're looking at, whatever leadership, they're reviewing.
And to that point, one of the distinctions I make about innovation in the book and in a lot of the work that I've done and we've done together is that we often stop at innovation, the thing, versus focusing on why we innovate. I believe that the purpose of innovation is to improve the human condition. And to the point about the values you bring to the work, why you were doing a thing, why you were building something new, why are you deploying a new technology, that actually matters just as much as the thing you're building. And I think what I always gravitated towards working with you and supporting your work is you always had a clear why. I'm building this community because we need to see more folks focused on this. We need to see more folks that come from inclusive backgrounds, intersecting with data and analytics and AI, and that matters.
Yeah, no, that's a really great way to describe it, and thank you for that plug for us, And you've helped unlock more than 100 million to create opportunity for communities just like ours, and that's amazing. Is there one story or something that stands out that reminds you why this work is so important?
Yeah. So I wear many hats, but one of the hats that I'm very proud to wear is as the founder of an organization called NIA Project. And it is an organization that I started to help clear the pathway to college for kind of under-resourced students. What most people don't know is I've never paid for school. I came to America on a full scholarship. I went to law school on a full scholarship. Yeah, it's expensive. Went to law school on a full scholarship, and I've been able to do many different executive programs at like Harvard, Columbia, NCI, all for free. And so we have just surpassed helping students win more than $50 million in scholarships over the last
amazing. That's
12
so
years.
Cool. That's amazing.
And the number is great, but for me, it's the stories. We've had students whose parents make less than $18,000 a year win a full ride to college. So those opportunities completely changed the trajectory of their lives individually and their families' lives as immigrants. And so for me, like, that's what I'm excited about is impact.
Yeah, that's true. And in Canada, is college free?
It's not free, but it's definitely more accessible.
Yeah, I feel like everywhere except for here.
There's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many.
I thought that people that make that kind of money, they should just get free college. I mean, I don't understand why.
One would think. One would think.
Yeah, that does not make any sense. But the system is broken, and I think you are one of the people trying to fix it, which is we need more of y'all's for sure. I try to. And you've definitely advised a lot of leaders through uncertainty and difficult situations. What really separates people who embrace change from those who really resist it?
That is such a good question. And I've been thinking a lot about change. An individual or a leader's relationship to change often is informed by their upbringing, their emotional state, and how much they can remove their ego.
Yeah, it's really about the ego, isn't it?
Ego is not like everybody has ego. Ego is just kind of how we process, right? It's like bias. Like we have biases in our brains that help us filter information. And so I think sometimes there's a negative connotation associated with it. But change, when we change our relationship to change, in terms of seeing it as an opportunity, in terms of understanding the constant is always endings and beginnings. And the more you embrace that there's going to be a flow to how things move, I think the biggest impediment to change is people that want to control. Mm-hmm. Because control means you want things to stay in a certain way, and change means you're open to new possibilities.
Yes. No, I think that's a really good point. So, and we're living through one of the biggest shifts, as we talked about in the beginning. Where do you see kind of the biggest responsibilities for leaders right now as we go through this? Because I feel like you can't just sprinkle some AI on it.
Yeah. AI,
it's like, that's not what we should be doing.
I was meeting with a good friend who does amazing work, whom you also know, Felicia Hatcher.
Yes.
Black Ambition. You should totally have her in your amazing
yeah, closet. She's awesome. Yeah.
But we met this morning, and one of the things we were talking about is AI is not a silver bullet. You can't just, to your point, sprinkle AI and think it's going to solve the problems, because these problems are human problems. And so a lot of the work that I've personally been passionate about is, again, around the future of leadership. And I think that leaders who understand that AI is a tool to achieve an outcome versus using AI as the outcome. A lot of times in government, they're like, oh, AI will solve it. No. AI can optimize your process. AI can be a tool to get better outcomes, but it is not the end game.
Right. And I could hear your Canadian accent. Outcomes. I love it. No, and that's a really great answer too, because, AI is not like, there still haven't even been the governance or anything around it. It's still working and creating all the tools for all of that. And you've also worked in a lot of both public and private institutions. What can each learn from the other when it comes to innovation and change?
Part of the work that I do right now is leading one of the first public innovation authorities in the U.S., started right here in Miami, and soon to be, hopefully, public innovation authorities in cities across the country. And the role of a public innovation authority is to sit at the crossroads of public and private. Right. If you think about the distinction, public sector, government exists as that institution that we've kind of allowed to exist as a monopoly to govern our shared resources, to manage risk collectively, to make sure that we have structure around how we as humans live together in a society and have our collective needs met, like roads, schools, getting garbage picked up. So there's an inherent orientation towards bureaucracy and risk aversion, whereas the private sector, they move fast and break things.
Yes.
And sometimes in breaking things, they build really great things. And so what I think there's opportunities to learn from the private sector is, how do we ensure that government can focus on the end user and ensure that how people interact with government is frictionless, it's a positive experience, it's not riddled with frustration, and things work just as well as they work in the private sector. And conversely, I think that the private sector could learn from government around how to be a better steward of shared resources, how to build things in a way that is thinking longer term about the impacts on the planet, on society, on making sure we're serving everybody's needs versus a select few.
Yeah, no, that's an amazing answer to that question. So thank you. And also now let's talk a little bit about uncertainty. How do you get comfortable with it? Because I'm sure you talk to a lot of leaders who have to make these huge decisions. How do you actually deal with it yourself?
So it's funny. At 1 p.m., I have a reminder to listen to my affirmations. I use this app called Think Up, where you can pre-record your own personal affirmations
For yourself.
and then you hear yourself talking back. And the affirmation that I recently added in the last quarter helped me release the desire or need for certainty. And
because we don't know anyways.
Because we're never going to know. And so I wanted to remind myself that I need to release myself from the desire or need for certainty and recognize that uncertainty can be a gift because it allows for you to live in the present. And a lot of anxiety comes from either focusing too much in the future, which sucks as a futurist because I'm always thinking future, or focusing and dwelling too much in the past. And there's a lot that we could notice if we were paying attention to the moment and what's around us in terms of leaders and in terms of how they can apply this concept or this idea to their work. Being able to deal with uncertainty means that you can take the facts as they exist now and recognize that you can build your capacity to pivot when the circumstances change.
Exactly. It could never get worse. It can only get better.
Yeah.
No, that's also a great answer. And, we always talk about success and what it means on this podcast. How has your definition of success evolved over the years and, the 20 years that you've been here and working on these amazing projects and talking to so many public and private companies?
Yeah, I think when I was younger, success was kind of achieving goals. And James Clear has a really good distinction about how to think about effective goals, which are who you become in order to achieve the thing you want to see happen. And so my success is really aligned with my personal mantra, which is people, purpose, and impact over everything else. So for me, success is how do I ensure that I am using my time, my talent, my energy, my treasure in furtherance of things that align with my purpose.
Nice. Yeah, that's very, very deep and down to earth. I mean, I feel like Miami, again, it's a great place, but sometimes I feel like people can fall into the scene here and it could be very external here.
Yes.
So, but not with everybody.
No,
there's good people here too, and it's not like those people are bad. It's just different values.
Very different.
Yeah.
And I think the heyday of Venture Cafe, you used to be there a lot. I think there was a concentration of folks that were maybe more focused on collective values
Right.
and really focused on community in a very different way, which I kind of miss once in a while.
I know. Yeah, it's a little different now without that. And many women listening have incredible ideas, but they just hesitate, before taking the first step. I feel like a lot of people talk about stuff. And what advice would you give someone who's waiting until, they feel everything is ready, but because you'll never really be ready, right?
So this is a definition that I use in life and dating as well. Ready is a decision, not a state of mind. So you make the
that's
decision.
That's a good quote right
No,
there.
seriously.
Yes.
Once I had that aha moment, I was like, oh, wait. For a person who's like, oh, I'm not ready to be in a relationship. No, you've decided that
you're not ready. Yes, of course. Yeah.
And the same thing goes for starting something. Ready is a decision, not a state of mind. You're never going to, in your body, feel ready because your body is designed to feel calm in familiar environments. And if you're walking into something new, which is building something that you haven't built before, it is inherently uncertain and unfamiliar. So your nervous system is going to go on fire. So you just have to decide, I'm
ready for it right now.
I was born ready.
Yes, exactly. Well, this is I Want Her Shoes, so we have to talk a little bit about style. How would you describe your personal style today, and how has it evolved alongside since you came here, from Canada, and how your career has evolved as well?
So I would say, I moved to Miami probably 2 months after I turned 20 for law school, so I technically wasn't even legal drinking age.
Uh-oh.
So my style back then was very much nightlife. But it's funny, I've been looking at, I'm on Instagram a lot, and there's all of these old Instagram reels where people are saying, back in the early 2000s, your club wear was corporate attire.
Yes.
You would go to Express Yeah,
Oh
you
my
wore
God,
a blazer and
yes,
heels,
yes,
and that's
yeah.
what you wore to the club, which apparently is very different than what people wear now going out.
Well, I saw, I saw a post on Instagram talking about wearing heels back in the office. I guess people dropped heels. There was just sneakers in the office for a while, and now they're like, "Oh, is that okay to wear heels?" Like what?
It has evolved.
It's always okay to wear heels in the office.
Yes.
Where it is.
So I would say my style now has evolved more recently into, you're older, you have a little bit more disposable income. I focused on quality capsule wardrobe where I really pay attention to the supply. There's much information and transparency around the supply chain of what I'm wearing. This company unfortunately folded, but this company that makes the shirts called A-Day, they just closed earlier this year, but they're completely sustainable fabrics, very much a capsule wardrobe, really thoughtful about the types of fabrics. So when you travel, they don't wrinkle as much, they pack flat. So my style has evolved to being more functional and more timeless. And then I accent a lot. If you see me speak, I spend a lot of time in Africa through the NIA project, where we often take students for leadership experiences. And I also do that with leaders. So I get a lot of clothes made when I'm on the continent.
That's so cool.
Custom clothes.
I love it. I think I've seen you in those pieces. They're really amazing. Now that you're more about comfort, let's take off one of those shoes and tell me the story about it.
So they're not... The story behind the shoe is...
Sounds like it's a good story.
It's a good story. So these are some just regular comfortable sandals made in Italy.
Yeah, but they're blue. They're like kind of Birkenstock-ish.
Yes.
vibe.
So navy blue, one of my favorite colors. They match my bag, the bag over there. And my mom gave me these shoes a couple weeks ago. Was before I was going on a trip to Europe, and she's like, "I know you like to walk a lot, and I saw these shoes, and I thought you would like them the last time I was traveling, and they're made in Italy, and they're really comfortable." And they will match your Dior bag. And they match my Dior bag. But more importantly, I thought that was just the nicest gesture that my mom would think about me, see a pair of shoes that she thought I would like and that I would actually wear. Because I know so many people that don't have their moms, they don't have their parents. And to be considered is one of the highest forms of love. Is not always what people say, it's how they act. So for me, I'm wearing these shoes. I was actually talking to her about this before I came here. But the shoes to me is an act of consideration.
So that's your love language. Then
quality time and to be get acts of service.
Yes. I love it. All right. Well, let's do this or that then.
Okay.
All right. Big vision or small daily wins?
I'm a visionary thinker, so I have to go with big vision.
Yeah. Agreed. AI assistant or handwritten notebook?
Handwritten.
Yes.
I
still write stuff too because I just like to do it. I remember. I don't know how people are not going to write. How do you actually do you know what I mean? How does that go from here? Do you know what I mean? Because I have to write it to remember it. So kids are not writing, then how do they?
I was writing on an iPad, and this year I've been more analog, and I switched to a notebook, and I'm remembering way more. Just the writing on paper versus writing on an iPad.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm a little worried about this. Yes. So, boardroom or brainstorming session?
Brainstorming.
Startup or nonprofit?
Startups are nonprofits.
Yes. Yes, true.
For the ones that I have launched.
Yes, yes. Coffee meeting or walking meeting?
Walking.
Love that. Structure or spontaneity?
I love spontaneity.
Yeah.
My default is structure.
Yes, I know.
But I love a good time.
Out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tonight I'm going to play laser tag. That's fun.
I love that.
You're welcome to come.
Leading or mentoring?
Mentoring.
Miami or New York?
Oh, Miami.
Miami.
All the way.
Book or podcast?
Ooh, that is a tough one.
It is tough, but I feel like they're both different.
They're different, and I host podcasts, but my first love is always reading.
That's true. Early mornings or late nights?
Always early mornings.
Ditto. Late nights, I'm asleep.
By 9 o'clock, I'm
no,
what?
I literally, people call and I'm out to sleep.
Yes.
Out. Calculated risk or bold leap?
Bold leap.
Building companies or building communities? I feel like they're both important. You can't have one.
I would say community.
Yeah, agreed. Purpose or profit?
Purpose.
Sneakers or heels?
Always sneakers.
Legacy or impact?
Ooh, that is a good one. impact.
Yes.
Because impact over time becomes legacy.
Yes. I love that, Leigh-Ann. Thank you so much for such an inspiring conversation. And one of my biggest takeaways is there's so many that innovation isn't reserved for just entrepreneurs, technologists, or inventors. It's for everybody. You know, it's a mindset that you have. It's willingness to stay curious, embrace uncertainty, and imagine a better future, even before anybody could see it, because we don't really know unless you are psychic. But they still don't know.
Yes.
And whether you're leading a company, raising a family, launching a new chapter, or simply trying to navigate change, innovation begins with believing that something better is possible. And maybe that's the real lesson. The future isn't something we're waiting for. It's right now. And it's something that we create one bold idea, one thoughtful decision, one courageous step at a time. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you on the next episode of the I Want Her Shoes podcast. Yay.
Thank you.
So much
fun.